It's the NFL on CBS. Happy New Year from Pittsburgh this Week 17. Battle today in the AFC North pits the Steelers against the Cleveland Browns. And today's game being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. The future Hall of Famer Joe Thomas taking part in the coin toss as we are set for football. The kick is next on CBS. Back with you from Pittsburgh. The fans are in place. That snow is coming down as the sun has actually peeked through the crowds here just off the Ohio and Allegheny Rivers. Cleveland winning the toss. They elect to defer, and so the Steelers will have the football with Landry Jones to begin Week 17. Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, our entire CBS crew wishing everyone a happy and healthy New Year wherever you are on this New Year's Eve. The Browns in white, the Steelers in their traditional black and gold. As Zane Gonzalez boots it away, and we are underway in this regular season finale on CBS. This is Juju Smith-Schuster, the rookie, breaking a couple of tackles, crosses the 25 and gets out close to the 30 after a terrific return of 26 yards. So no Ben Roethlisberger, as we mentioned. Landry Jones making his second straight Week 17 start against Cleveland. You see his numbers in that victory, the come from behind win over the Browns last year. Only his fifth career start. He has been their backup quarterback for the last 5 years. And there is Roethlisberger. He will be wearing the headset, trying to play as active a role as he can, and also trying to stay bundled up and as warm as he can on that Steelers sideline. So Pittsburgh begins from their own 28. Jones to the air to get the party started. Putting some air under it far side of the field, and it is incomplete, intended for Martavis Bryant. As Bryant gets his feet tangled up with the defender, the pass falls incomplete. A host of Pro Bowlers up front are out. No Marquise Pouncey, also no David DeCastro, so B.J. Finney makes his second straight start. Finney was very good last week, and Juju Smith-Schuster, you know about him certainly, has had a monstrous rookie year. Youngest player in the NFL this season, by the way. But certainly hasn't played like it. The second-round pick out of USC. Third in the league in yards per target, just under 12 on average for the season. Play action from Jones on second down. His pass is caught. That's the fullback Roosevelt Nix, who had the 1-yard touchdown run last week. And the victory against Houston, a pickup of 5. How about this 12th-ranked defense coached by Greg Williams? Myles Garrett, 6 sacks in his 10 games played. When healthy, he's been a beast. Joe Schobert, among the league leaders in tackles, was selected as a Pro Bowl alternate, tied for 4th in tackles entering Week 17. And Jabril Peppers headlines the back end, the rookie safety, the first-round pick out of Michigan. Still trying to leave his imprint in what has been an up-and-down rookie season. 3rd and 5 from the Pittsburgh 33. Jones from the gun. Goes to his check down. That pass is caught. That's Fitzgerald Toussaint. And that appears to be enough for Steelers first down. Tackled by James Burgess Jr. A pickup of 7 as the Steelers move the sticks.
Well, Greg Williams opted to, on 3rd down, put Jabril Peppers on Juju Smith-Schuster, who has been a big 3rd down threat here in the last few games. He was covered across the field, but then Jones goes through his progression, gets it out to his running back. They pick up the first down.
Steelers have scored 8 times on their opening drive of the season. 4 touchdowns, 4 field goals, towards the top of the NFL in that category. This is Stephen Ridley, able to wiggle his way inside Cleveland territory. Nicely done. It's a 13-yard burst. Another Pittsburgh first down, finally tackled by Peppers.
Well, not exactly like Le'Veon Bell, but the very small little crease right there for Ridley to get through. Good combination block up inside. You see him able to navigate that hole. The linebackers for the Cleveland Browns feel in the wrong spot, and he's able to get into the next level.
Ridley, who signed last week after the season-ending injury to James Conner, who of course had been Le'Veon Bell's backup, making his second appearance as a Steeler. This is Ridley again. And it will be a second down coming up, so no Le'Veon Bell. Of course, Antonio Brown still nursing that leg injury, no Roethlisberger. And the Steelers, division champs for a third time in 4 years. They can finish no worse than second in the AFC, and hoping for a miracle as the Jets look to dethrone the Patriots up in New England. A game that we'll be keeping tabs on as the afternoon goes on. So 2nd and 10 from the Cleveland 47. Keep it on the ground again. Run play called, and this is Ridley breaking the initial tackle against a Cleveland defense, Adam, that, by the way, is much improved from the last couple of years. It was James Burgess who missed the tackle, and Ridley burns it for 16.
One-on-one in the hole, broken tackle, and Burgess, who you mentioned playing for Jamie Collins, has actually done a pretty good job here. But when you get a chance to get one-on-one in the hole right there, you've got to be able to bring them down. Now, this has been a huge improvement from where they were last year. The Cleveland Browns, who have not been able to stop the run, pretty good. But so far in this game, the Steelers are able to pick up some big chunks.
Fresh shutted down, 7th play of the drive as Jones works from the gun on 1st and 10. His pass over the middle is caught. That's Juju Smith-Schuster, his first reception of the afternoon. We had a chance to talk to Mike Tomlin about the impact that this rookie has had. And the word that Tomlin used was profound. He said he's impacted everyone in the locker room. He says he's everyone's favorite little brother.
Only 21 years old, and I thought it was funny that Mike Tomlin said that he has more in common with Tomlin's kids, who are teenagers, than he does the other wide receivers in that room. But there is, without a doubt, that he has been a big factor in the last part of the season.
Little end around play. This is Darius Hayward-Bay finding the edge. He's still going. 5, and he's into the end zone for the Steelers touchdown. 29 yards to get Pittsburgh on the board early.
So far, first drive of the game, broken tackles and missed opportunities. Set up beautifully on that right side for Hayward-Bay to hit the corner, but you have 2 Cleveland Brown defenders that get split. We know how fast that Hayward-Bay is. It's a cold day out there, but we've counted 3 or 4 broken tackles already in the first drive.
2nd career rushing touchdown for Hayward-Bay, the 9th-year NFL man, and his first touchdown overall this season. 7-0 Steelers on CBS. Hugh Jackson and his Cleveland Browns in danger of being immortalized, but for all the wrong reasons. Touchdown where they sit on the doorstep of NFL infamy. These are the winless teams in the history of the league going back to 1944. The Cowboys in their inaugural season in 1960. Of course, the 76-86 Bucks. Now that 82 Colts team was in a strike-shortened season, and the Detroit Lions, the only team to go 0-16 Adam in a season, and so a lot of pressure on Hugh Jackson's back.
It is, and it's so hard to do. And when you watch the Browns, they've been in a lot of games this year. The difference has been that they haven't been able to make that play. The other team has made the plays, and so they've been there, but they just can't find a way to close it out. Now, this was not a good start for Hugh Jackson and Greg Williams' defense. A lot of broken tackles against the backups for the Steelers. They're going to have to pick up that side of the ball.
Boswell's kick is fielded by Matthew Days. Has had some success this season as a kick returner. Crosses the 20 and is brought down just short of the 25. It's a return of 23 yards. So here comes the rookie quarterback, the 21-year-old DeShone Kizer. Worst completion percentage in the NFL, most turnovers in the league. 8 of those turnovers have come in the red zone as he has struggled massively. All kinds of injuries around him. Of course, lost his future Hall of Fame left tackle Joe Thomas earlier in the year. Kevin Zeitler headline, signed that big free agent contract in the offseason, coming over from Cincinnati. And Josh Gordon today, his 5th game since making his return back in Week 13 in LA against the Chargers. The Chargers, he's been up and down. Here's Kizer under pressure, wrapped up and buried. Tyson Alualu making the start today for Cam Hayward. And Alualu, when called upon this season, has been big for Mike Tomlin.
This was a little Cameron Hayward-esque on this. Inside stunt by Alualu, and they're expecting him schematically to be picked up in the backfield by Duke Johnson. And I don't really know if that's the exact matchup. If guy that's over 300 pounds matched up against your running back, that's going to be a win all day for the Steelers defense.
Steelers D now has posted a sack in every game this season. That's Isaiah Crowell on a pickup of 2. Let's get you to New York in our first update of the day with Boomer.
Hey, Spiro, like on cue, right after Haywood Bay scored in the Pittsburgh game that you're doing, Deion Lewis came back on a 3-yard touchdown run. They won 13 plays, 75 yards in our opening drive. They lead the Jets 7-0. Back to you.
All right, Boomer, that's a game that the Steelers fans are keeping close tabs on, and certainly not the start that they were hoping for as the Jets look to pull what would be a huge Week 17 upset.
3rd and 16, not a great place against one of the best pressure defenses in the league.
Well, they protect Kaiser well, at least initially, and then he is buried again. Nowhere to throw down the field, and Sean Davis, the strong safety, finally chases Kaiser down for a loss of 12.
You really can't ask more from the offensive line because the protection was there. You're going to see Davis here. He's going to fake the blitz, and then he's going to drop off and play man-to-man coverage on the tight end. As soon as he sees the opportunity, he leaves the tight end and then gets to Kaiser. There is no way that Kaiser in that situation can hold the ball as long as he does, but a wonderful play by the safety, Sean Davis.
First sack of the season for Davis, one of the high draft picks that they have, younger players sprinkled into that Steelers secondary, the second-year kid out of Maryland. Braden Colquitt on to punt, spiraling kick. There is a flag thrown. Eli Rogers, as now the officials will whistle the play. That could be a delay
Before
of
the
game.
snap, the play clock expired. Delay of game. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 4th down.
And so now this is just going from bad to worse for Cleveland. Give up the long touchdown and now a 3-and-out penalty as they will push Colquitt back even further into his own end zone.
I think the big question was whether or not the Steelers, because they're sitting their guys, were going to come out flat, but not today. Mike Tomlin has both sides of the ball ready. It's the Browns that look like they're not interested in this one.
Colquitt gets it off cleanly. No flags thrown. Rogers is going to play it from just inside his own 50. The initial spin and then run out of bounds after a 50-yard punt. A loss of 3 on the return as they get to Kaiser early. 7-0 Steelers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Macy's. And by Honda. Hurry into the Happy Honda Days sales event today.
Well, some of the pictures from the opening day Steelers victory in Cleveland. Browns keeping it close. Actually, the first of 4 losses that they have suffered this season by just 3 points in what has been a winless campaign until this point. Week 17, and right now down here in Pittsburgh, 7-0. This is Ridley again, has broken off a couple of big runs already. So Landry Jones making the start, second straight Week 17 against Cleveland for him, and of course had that prolific career collegiately at Oklahoma. A couple of huge years as he lit it up for the Sooners. And as Mike Tomlin told us, he's kind of grown up and developed in the shadows here, but they have full confidence in him. The playbook is fully open for him. There's nothing really that they feel like he can't handle. And boy, so far so good. Orchestrates that long touchdown drive to get them going. And Jones looking very, very comfortable as he makes only his 5th career start. Jones on 2nd and 9, lets a rip. That pass is intercepted. It's Jabril Peppers on the pick. No flags thrown, and it will be Cleveland football. First career interception for the rookie out of Michigan, Jabril Peppers.
They've been looking for this, and he's been playing a lot more down low in the box. And that time he disguises underneath, he reads the route perfectly, and then comes up with his first big play of the season.
A big moment for Jabril Peppers, the young man whom the Browns took 25th overall in the draft last spring. His first career interception here in Week 17. This is Isaiah Crowell, crosses the 40. As we go back to the interception, Adam, what did you see?
Great disguise, baiting an inexperienced quarterback. They're showing zone coverage, and Peppers is underneath. So Landry Jones thinks that he's going to have the inside cut, but this is man underneath. It's a double coverage on the outside receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster, and as Peppers rolls his head inside, Landry does not account for him, and he comes away with a big play.
2nd and 6 as they snap it just outside the Cleveland 40. This is Crowell again. Crowell, of course, voicing his frustration at lack of carries just before last week. Hugh Jackson didn't appreciate it as they kind of went back and forth, but Hugh said that his comments were a little bit blown out of proportion. Those two are clearly on the same page, and Jackson certainly valuing Crowell's ability with this team. Slow start to the season for Crowell, but did kind of break through middle of the way through the regular season with some big games, but there just hasn't been enough for this Cleveland offense around DeShone Kizer. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
Kizer again, well protected. That pass, however, is too low, intended for Josh Gordon, as those two have not been able to find much chemistry the last couple of weeks.
This time the Steelers are going to drop 8 in coverage. They're going to play with 3, and they're expecting the shallow cross. Really good shape over there at the cornerback spot by Joe Hayden, and there's an extra defender on the other side just waiting for Josh Gordon. So another great series from this Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Joe Hayden, of course, the longtime Cleveland Brown, a couple of Pro Bowls with Cleveland, but released just 11 days before the opener in a move that sent shockwaves throughout the NFL and quickly pounced on by the Steelers today playing against his old team. Eli Rogers signals fair catch, and the Steelers will have it right around their own 25-yard line. A punt of only 34 yards by Colquitt. Well, next Saturday, it's an SEC showdown when Florida takes on Missouri. And then on Sunday, a Big Ten battle as number 2 Michigan State collides with Ohio State. Great basketball action here next weekend on CBS. Ben Roethlisberger, a spectator in Week 17 for a 2nd straight year. Steelers at this point last year were locked in as the 3 seed. Right now at number 2, can finish no lower than 2. And hoping for a Jet comeback win at New England. Combine that with the Steelers win here in Pittsburgh, would steal that number 1 seed. Here is Jones from the gun. How does he respond after that pick? The pass is deflected and caught. It's Juju Smith-Schuster. Boy, almost went right through his grasp, which would have been a dangerous play, but it's caught. Jamar Taylor was there for the coverage, a pickup of only 3.
Greg Williams thought that for this game, the Steelers were going to line up in a lot of 2 backs and 2 tight ends, and then they were going to go out in a lot of spread sets. He really thought that the Green Bay Packers attacked his defense pretty well, but so far in this game, you're seeing a big mix and match of 2 backs, 2 tight ends, spread set to try and keep the Cleveland defense off balance.
2nd and 7. Jones, quick release. This is Schuster breaking a tackle. Schuster in the open field and finally pushed out of bounds. Joe Schobert finally able to get to him, but the rookie showing his electricity in open terrain. A pickup of 34 and a big Steelers first down.
Really nice recognition by Jones to see the blitz coming off of his right side, corner blitz. That's going to put Peppers in one-on-one, and he takes an aggressive angle to the inside of Juju Smith-Schuster. He misses the tackle, and then it's what number 19 has been doing for the last half of the season. Yards after the catch for another huge play for the Steelers.
1st and 10. They'll go back to the ground game. This is Ridley finding the edge. Ridley inside the 20 and forced out of bounds by Peppers, as the Steelers now gashing this Cleveland defense. Ridley, a 21-yard burst.
The Steelers' offensive line this season is extremely strong. 2 backups in the game, replacing a couple Pro Bowlers, but the tight end, number 89, Vance McDonald, with the key block on the inside on Myles Garrett, and that opens up a huge hole for Ridley. So far, Ridley enjoying some nice open running lanes for the Steelers.
Also, B.J. Finney, who was pulling on that play with a huge block to plow open that hole for Ridley, who, by the way, now has 6 carries for over 50 yards. He loses 3 here, tackled by Jamar Taylor. And keep in mind, this is a Ridley pickup who they just signed before their game last week with James Conner going down with the injury. Debuted last week, had 9 carries in the win at Houston. Since leaving New England, Adam, at the end of the 2014 season, this is only Ridley's 11th appearance in a game. Just haven't seen much of him.
Well, so far, 6 carries, 47 yards against a top 7 Browns rushing defense. So would have to say the offensive line, the tight ends, and the backs playing extremely well here to start this game.
First, this is a 30-second timeout.
Todd Haley and Mike Tomlin signaling for a timeout down on that Steelers sideline, so they'll stop the clock here with 3:30 to play in this opening quarter. And so far, so good for Mike Tomlin and his Steelers, comfortably in front with a 7-0 lead. A couple of big plays already. We've been talking about Stephen Ridley, of course, Juju Smith-Schuster. You talked about his young age, only 21 years of age. Martavis Bryant's reemergence, and since the injury to Antonio Brown in Week 15, they've had other guys step in. We know about the rookie, but Vance McDonald has really started to come into his own.
Yeah, but it's, I think, really the emergence of Smith-Schuster, and that's actually pushed Martavis Bryant a little bit. It took him a while to get ingrained into this offense, but you've even seen Bryant start to make some plays here down the stretch.
Jones on 2nd and 13. Pump fakes, pass over the middle and incomplete. Off the hands of Vance McDonald, the tight end, who has broken out in a big way over the last few weeks. 8 catches for 104 yards over their last 2 games, going back to the New England game here 2 weeks ago. And it will be 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, Vance, he's made some big catches, especially down the field, but really his main value when you really watch this run game is how he blocks the run at the edge of the offense. I mean, most of those big runs are because of the blocking from these tight ends.
Here come the Browns on a blitz. Steelers pick it up nicely. Jones's pass is caught. That's Smith-Schuster inside the 10. He is a couple of yards short of the first down. Brian Body Calhoun, who's been one of the better ranked slot corners in the league this season, is there for the tackle. It's a pickup of 11 as Tomlin will send out his field goal unit. See Chris Boswell's numbers on the season. Selected to the Pro Bowl for the first time in his 3-year career. Boswell, one of 8 Pro Bowlers selected from the Steelers team. That is the most in the NFL this season. Flag thrown as Boswell was able to bang it through. Let's see what the officials
on
say.
infraction. Defense, number 58. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And that just about sums up the season for Hugh Jackson. First down for the Steelers. They'll have it 1st and goal.
Well, they said number 58, but I think it was somebody else with a 9 number. But what a huge mistake right there for the Browns. You have a chance. You had a good stop in the red zone, stopping a good drive here for the Steelers, and then you give them 4 more downs inside your 5-yard line.
Adam, it appeared to be Myles Garrett, the man who was penalized on that play. Nonetheless, 1st and goal Steelers from just inside the Cleveland 5. So the pressure squarely back on this defense. This is Toussaint taking on tacklers, inches close to the 1. Tackled by Joe Schobert. A pickup of 3. Well, there's many reasons why a team is 0-15 on the season. Inopportune penalties, certainly at the top of the list for Hugh Jackson and the Browns.
A lot of timing issues, back-breaking plays against the defense at the wrong time, and the offense, not being able to capitalize on big play opportunities, either receivers, not coming down with the catch, or ball security issues in the red zone. And this jumping off sides on a 4th down field goal attempt, just one more in a long list.
8th play of the drive that began at their own 25-yard line. This is Ridley, as it will be Toussaint and Ridley splitting the reps today in the absence of Le'Veon Bell. Tackled by Joe Schobert, who has been all over the place and one of the few bright spots for this Cleveland team this season, the Pro Bowl alternate. There on the tackle.
Yeah, it says a lot when you're an 0-15 team and a defensive player is named as the first alternate. So that tells you that he's had a spectacular season.
This is the fullback, Nix. No signal yet from the officials. and appears to be a little bit short. Knicks had the short touchdown run last week in the win in Houston, but unable to punch it in here.
Boy, nice job up inside by the Cleveland Browns. Caleb Grantley, Danny Shelton. You see the Steelers here. Hey, we tried one field goal. We got 6 inches. Let's go try and punch it in.
10th play of the drive, 4th and goal. This is Nix, and he is stood up. What a play by Greg Williams' defense. So stout against the run this season. Had to get back onto the field after the penalty, and they stuffed the Steelers and will have it after the turnover on downs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Happy New Year from Pittsburgh as the snow flurries continue to fall. There's Ryan Shazier, that devastating spinal cord injury December the 4th against Cincinnati. The spinal stabilization surgery as he has begun his long road to recovery. The emotional lifeblood, defensive MVP of this team before he went down, and has been a huge presence even while he's been out the last couple of weeks, taking this game in from that toasty booth. Well, this Cleveland offense just trying to get something positive going. Tyson Alualu, who had the sack earlier, 2 3 and out so far. And this Cleveland offense that has been struggling all season long.
Especially when you get down inside your 1-yard line and you just don't have a lot of space. Now, the Browns have dropped back to pass. I thought so far DeShone Kizer has been a bit hesitant. So I would be very wary here if I'm Hugh Jackson in calling a pass from your own end zone. But somehow, some way, you have to get some breathing room. Try and pick up a first down and keep your defense off the field.
Could be the end of the quarter here. Kaiser's going to turn and take a timeout, which doesn't make much sense. Just 2 seconds left, and that's just a young rookie mistake, as they will use one of their 3 timeouts here. Kaiser's teammate perhaps reminding him of that fact, Ricardo Lewis. And certainly all part of the steep learning curve for the 21-year-old rookie.
Sure, and obviously delay of game. The quarter was going to run out, but even if it was a delay of game, you're sitting there on the 1-yard line. So half the distance, you're talking about 6 inches. I know it's important, but it's one of those that you have to be aware of.
We mentioned Ryan Shazier and his devastating injury. There has been an outpouring of support, not only from within the Steelers, but from around the NFL. Duke Johnson has been honoring Shazier. No connection to him. They don't know each other personally. They do share the same Florida roots, but you see the eye black with Shazier's name and number.
I don't think you have to play with him or know him to have a connection. I think anybody who's played this game saw what happened in that game, and your heart breaks. And you understand the gravity of the situation.
Something that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers have certainly appreciated. Here's Kizer from his own end zone, who's going to let it rip up the near side of the field, intended for Lewis, and it falls incomplete. That takes us to the end of the first. 7-0 Steelers on CBS. Well, the snow flurries have held up for the moment, and the sun peeking through the clouds here in Pittsburgh on New Year's Eve day. Happy New Year to everyone with us. 7-0 Steelers as we begin the second quarter. Tough set of circumstances here for DeShone Kizer and Cleveland as they are pinned back deep. 3rd down. Kizer to the air, but too low. Again, unable to get it to his intended receiver. This time it's Lewis. And as Kizer mentioned to us in our conversation with him yesterday, his accuracy certainly the biggest thing that he has to address in the offseason.
No doubt, and he has to find a way to hit those. That is a 6-yard hitch route to Ricardo Lewis, who is wide open. And if you throw him the ball in the right spot, he may just have a chance to run for a first down. So the easy throws, the routine throws, are the ones that Kizer just hasn't hit often enough.
Kizer, by the way, has still not completed a pass in this game. He's 0 for 3, and that punt, was it partially blocked at the line of scrimmage? Appeared as though it was. It was Tyler Matakevich. We'll have to go back and look at the replay here. certainly appeared as though it sounded like it had been blocked at the line of scrimmage. So a 29-yard punt. You see it come off the right leg of Colquitt, and it was indeed deflected off the helmet of Matakevich, and nicely done by the Steelers punt unit, punt return unit.
Another 8 Pro Bowlers the Steelers have an NFL high, and Matakevich is one of them as a special teams player. Great job going inside, but when you get backed up that much, that's how important that throw to Ricardo Lewis was. Get some space, but now everything is bunched up, and it's a higher likelihood that you're going to get your punt blocked.
So here's Landry Jones, again making only his 5th career start. Some confusion here perhaps with their personnel that they have on the field, so the Steelers are forced to burn a timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Fidelity Investments. Opening minute, second quarter. Steelers forced to burn their second timeout, so they've got just 1 now left for the half. But it's a terrific field position as they begin from inside the Cleveland 30 after the partially blocked punt. Jones has his feet tangled up and hits the deck. And he'll just stay there as Peppers touches him, getting his money's worth at the 35-yard line. Peppers already with a pick and a loss of 6 here.
Say, let's see, did he get stepped on? Yeah, right there you see Finney's his left foot step on the back of Landry Jones. Not the cleanest starts here for Jones. He had a couple nice throws, threw the interception, has held on to the ball a little bit, but I think they'd like a little bit cleaner operation here.
So credit the sack for Peppers. So today his first interception and his first sack of his rookie season. Jones on 2nd and 16. Quick strike, far side. He finds Bryant. Martavis Bryant coming off his best 2-game stretch of the season. 3 catches last week in Houston. A pickup of 14.
I know Bryant is fast, but a 10-yard cushion that's too easy. I don't care who your quarterback is. Jones, Ben Roethlisberger, Deshaun Kaiser. That's one thing the Cleveland Browns, their defensive backs, play deeper than any other defense in the league, and they give up a lot of easy throws underneath.
Jones got him to the line of scrimmage quickly. 3rd and 2 here as they try to pick up the pace. Jones looked to fake the handoff, throws, has his man, it's caught! It's Juju Schuster for the Steelers touchdown! 20 yards from Landry.
Miscommunication, and you've got nobody deep. Bunch formation, not communicated properly. You got 2 players go out to the flat, and the cornerback right there, the safety, Kai Nakua, the rookie, does not see Smith-Schuster run right by him.
7th touchdown catch of the season for the 21-year-old rookie out of Southern California. All Steelers. Yeah. Juju Smith-Schuster, 5 catches, 71 yards, and his 7th receiving touchdown of the season. That leads all NFL rookies. All Steelers 14-0 as Cleveland's nightmare season continues here in Week 17. Early stages of the 4th, as Boswell's kick is fielded from the 2 by Peppers. Crosses the 20, Peppers out across the 25. Not only is Schuster their rookie stud wide receiver, according to Mike Tomlin, he's also their touchdown celebration coordinator.
Mike Jordan, I thought it was Kai Nakua, but it was Mike Jordan, the corner. He got mesmerized by the tight end, and he lets Juju Smith-Schuster go. And then I thought it was hilarious when Mike Tomlin told us that he was a coordinator of all the celebrations. Little snowball fight right there. Looks like he went after the flag bearer. I have a feeling he's going to be some guy to watch when the Steelers find themselves in the playoffs in 2 weeks.
So here's Kaiser, fakes the handoff on 1st down out of the backfield. This is Duke Johnson Jr. And it will be a 1st down for Cleveland. The other thing Tomlin told us, talking about how young Schuster is, says he has more in common with his young sons. Tomlin has a 16 and 17-year-old son. He says they play video games together, and he's got more in common with them than he does with, say, an Antonio Brown. the youthful exuberance that really has shaken up their locker room. And what a season, what a career that young man has in front of him. So finally Cleveland is able to move the chains. Their first down at about the 13-minute mark of the second quarter. Here's Johnson, the little juke step maneuver. He has been Cleveland's MVP till this point of the season, a pickup of 7. One of the few bright spots, Adam, in their offense.
And Mike Tomlin, that's the one guy that he kind of singled out, and he said, we've got to have a plan for Duke Johnson. Now, normally, Ryan Shazier is the guy. He said if we had number 50, that we'd be good because he takes care of all that stuff. But it's going to have to be by committee, and especially in third down and passing situations, watch for 7 DBs as they put a cornerback on Johnson out of the backfield.
Kaiser fakes the handoff initially. He's going to take a shot. Has some air under it. Has his man Kaiser. Perfectly thrown pass to Gordon. Touchdown Cleveland. A majestic pass by Kaiser. Couldn't throw it better than that. And Gordon does the rest. 56 yards. Kaiser to Gordon.
You just can't. You've got to be able to bracket this. This is 2-on-1. Josh Gordon is the only receiver that's lined up out there. Joe Hayden is looking inside. The reverse motion catches his attention. He looks inside, and then that allows Gordon the time to run right by him. The free safety is in no position to get outside the numbers that fast. But that's all on Joe Hayden reading the backfield, playing the reverse, and not paying attention to Josh Gordon.
Officials taking a look at this, and as you can see right there, it appears as though Gordon's right foot was out of bounds before he broke the plane.
He got a horse collar tackle as well.
Of course, all scoring plays subject to automatic review. Mike Mitchell, the free safety, was the man on the coverage. And so at least from our vantage point, initially could be coming back.
The receiver stepped out of bounds with the ball at the 2-yard line, where it would be first and goal. Please reset the game clock to 12:05.
Well, clearly a missed horse collar, which is extremely dangerous.
Thank you.
Joe Hayden coming back, that was a huge piece for this passing defense, especially as they get ready for the playoffs. And when we talked to Mike Tomlin about it, the fact that he is such a good man coverage corner gives them a lot more options and flexibility. But that time, little lapse in concentration, and Gordon is just too fast, and the Browns are able to hit the big play.
With that reception, 54-yarder, Gordon now over 3,000 receiving yards for his career. Looked like perhaps a miscommunication on the exchange, and that pass is incomplete. Too low for the fullback Marquez Williams, whom they just signed this week off their practice squad, as you take another look.
Good pressure coming off the outside by Arthur Moats, and again, another instance. I know that's not the easiest throw with an outside linebacker coming at you, but that's an opportunity right there when you have a fullback who's open in the end zone to punch that ball in for 6 points. Corey Coleman, Josh Gordon, Duke Johnson all in the backfield. They split out.
You get the sense if the Browns are going to have any chance of coming back, they have to punch it in here. Down 2 touchdowns, and it is Johnson doing just that. And once again, Johnson honoring fallen Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier as Cleveland finally gets itself on the board.
Well, a really nice job of capitalizing off of that big play in the left side of the offensive line. Spencer Durango and Joel Bitonio, who Bitonio is an alternate for the Pro Bowl this season, but a nice job of washing down that Pittsburgh defensive front, creating a lane, and Johnson runs right through it.
5th rushing touchdown of Johnson's career and number 4 this season. 5 plays, 74 yards, as Shazier is still on Johnson's mind.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by GMC. Driven by GMC. Live like a pro. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about.
Back with you in Pittsburgh, where Steelers fans are still keeping keeping close tabs on that score between New England and the Jets. Right now, the Patriots up 7-3. Steelers, of course, right now in the number 2 spot. They can finish no worse than 2, but they can move up with a win here combined by a Jets victory in that game over New England. We'll keep you updated on that score as the day goes on. This kick is fielded by Toussaint in the end zone, and the Steelers will have it from the 25. Oh, Cameron Hayward, who's had a terrific season, is the Steelers nominee for the 2017 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. He established the Hayward House Foundation back in 2015. They help children stay active and healthy and also spread some holiday cheer to families in need throughout the western Pennsylvania area. He has been a monster this season. Amazingly, Adam was snubbed by the Pro Bowl committee.
I think it's a
Hard
shame.
to believe.
Yeah, there's no doubt when you watch Cameron Hayward play every single week, he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. He's had an outstanding season.
No official Pro Bowl committee, of course, but fan voting, the coaches voting, also the players, all with 1/3 of that Pro Bowl vote. Hard to believe he's not in, at least initially, with the season he's had. Here's Martavis Bryant, who, of course, disgruntled early in the season, was a little bit sore at Juju Smith-Schuster cutting in on some of his action, but Bryant starting to impact this offense.
And he admitted that he was rusty and he's had to try and kind of find himself this season. I thought last week was a really good game for, his confidence. 3 catches and he averaged 20 yards per catch, but a combination of both he and Smith-Schuster is a nice piece and another dimension for the Steelers offense.
It's Jesse James on his first reception of the afternoon. Landry Jones trying to get his chemistry going here. A pickup of 7. And the question was there a bobble here at the end of the play by James? Certainly have seen this before. Go back to a couple of weeks ago, that heartbreaking finish against New England. But it looks as though the catch will stand. And it's a pickup of 7 to set up a 2nd and 3. Middle pitch play, Jones to Toussaint inside Cleveland territory, getting downhill and tackled at the 47-yard line. A first down run of 5, tackled by Kirksey. This was that now infamous play at the end of the Week 15 game. Everyone thought it was over. The Steelers quickly marching down the field, and then they took a look at it upstairs, and much to the dismay of Steelers Nation, it was overturned and the touchdown negated, and the Patriots are going to win the game.
And I still can't quite understand it. That, I get the rule, but there's no doubt that was a catch.
This is Jones, and that pass is caught. What a first half it's been for Juju Smith-Schuster. First down, pickup of 11.
And here's what's kind of amazing about both Bryant and Juju Smith-Schuster is Antonio Brown has been out. He's the guy that dictates all the coverage. He commands all the double teams, all the schemes to try and stop him. And Smith-Schuster has been kind of the beneficiary, but the last 2 weeks, these receivers have had to do it by themselves, and they both have responded with huge contributions even without Antonio Brown in the lineup.
This is Toussaint sticking his foot in the turf and showing that terrific cutback maneuverability. As Kai Nakua was there, the rookie out of Brigham Young, on the tackle, a pickup of 7 as we await the call here from Jerome Boger.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, number 53, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Joe Schobert, who Adam might have been held on that play. Simultaneously, Alejandro Villanueva, who's Pro Bowl bound, the left tackle for the Steelers, getting a fistful of jersey, but it's the face mask of Schobert that the officials penalized there. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10. This is Toussaint getting those legs churning, close to the 10, tackled by Schobert. We spoke to Greg Williams about Schobert, and he talked about just the progression of this young man. Keep in mind, he started the offseason as their number 3 guy on the depth chart. Then they trade away DeMario Davis, that of course did not have Greg Williams pleased, but here's Schobert as a Pro Bowl bound player.
He was an edge guy at Wisconsin, an edge guy here last year, and really his first time playing behind the line of scrimmage, and he's been all over the place.
Here's Toussaint, 2nd and 4, trying to find the edge. Cuts back close to the 7. Maybe a little back further than that. We'll see where the officials spot the football. Injured Steeler here is B.J. Finney, who's making a second straight start for the Steelers. No Marquise Pouncey and no David DeCastro. And now it looks like Finney's shaken up.
Looked like Finney got pushed down by Joe Schobert as he was pulling to the outside and just kind of fell back on his right leg somehow.
Hey, we got him, guys. Go ahead. We got him.
Number 67 going to pull outside like you see Pouncey do so often. He pulls around to the right side, and watch Schobert, number 53, is just going to kind of push him down.
Take your time, BJ. We're going to let Hub get right over there.
All right, so the athletic trainers continue to tend to Finney. We'll be back in 30 seconds. That's B.J. Finney making the start today at center for Pittsburgh's Pro Bowl center Marquise Pouncey, who's been held out just for precautionary reasons, and now Finney will very gingerly make his way to the Steelers sideline. They don't have many healthy backups in this game, with Pouncey, DeCastro being held out, as Chris Hubbard, who has a lot of experience, was lauded by Ben Roethlisberger for his play as a backup this season for the most part. So Hubbard will now come in. You know, that makes things a little bit harder for Landry Jones. Just hasn't gotten many reps. And now has a change at center.
Hubbard is kind of the Swiss Army knife of the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. He comes in a lot in their extra tight end sets when they really try to load up the power, and that's where he's had a huge impact. Now he's going to have to do it on the inside, snapping the football instead of out there on the edge.
So Chris Hubbard, who hasn't played much center, suddenly has to play the position here, with Finney being looked at on that Steelers bench. 3rd and 3. Jones has to reach for the snap, goes end zone and incomplete. Intended for Eli Rogers, and so the Cleveland defense able to get off the field. There is a flag, I believe, thrown right behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Wow.
Defense, number 95. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's the second time that there has been a defensive penalty against the Browns just as they were about to get off the field.
It's Myles Garrett coming around the mountain right there, and oh man, I don't see it, Spiro. You know, when it comes to personal fouls, hits on the quarterback, I look for hits that don't belong as part of the game. To me, that's not a hit or a play that you're saying there's no place for that in football. I thought that was a terrible call.
Spoken like an ex-defender. This is Ridley pounding his way into the end zone for the Steelers touchdown. And Ramon Foster doing the rest, as Stephen Ridley in his second appearance as a Steeler with his first touchdown of the Steel City.
I got to tell you, these two have had a really good job inside so far in this game. Matt Filer and Marcus Gilbert getting up inside, creating the space, and then just a hard, tough run to get in for the 6.
Point after is good, and for Stephen Ridley, his first touchdown since 2014. It's all Steelers. Stephen Ridley in his starting role in the absence of Le'Veon Bell. First touchdown as a Steeler, as he signed this contract to join them before their game last week. Only his second appearance with Pittsburgh and his first touchdown since the 2014 season, going back to his days in New England. Just past the 8-minute mark, second quarter. And boy, a penalty marker is thrown here as that kick from Boswell bounces out of bounds. And the Browns will have good field position.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, number 9. The ball be placed 30 yards from the free kick spot. First down.
All right, so Jerome Boger makes the call. Well, it is extremely cold here, but that is about the only area on the field where it is hot. You see that heater firing off that heat. Players trying to inch a little bit closer to that thing on the sideline. It's exactly where I'd be down there
For sure. I know you would. Stay back 4 feet. That's a pretty funny sign.
But great job by our crew down there, braving the elements, and Steelers Nation, as loyal and boisterous a fan base as there is in the NFL. As this playoff-bound Steelers team, division champs for a third time in 4 years, right now locked into that number 2 spot in the AFC at the moment, hoping to move up. This Kaiser pass is caught. David Njoku on the catch, the rookie tight end out of Miami, their first-round pick, who has had his moments during the course of the season, a pickup of 4. And obviously big decisions, Adam, that have to be made for the Browns in the offseason. And right at the top of the list is who their quarterback will be, as Kaiser with one last chance to make an impression.
And I think DeShone Kizer knows that the quarterback position will be addressed. He's just hoping that next season he's going to have a chance to have a say in it. But I think without a doubt, the Browns are going to go and target a quarterback or multiple quarterbacks.
Kaiser's pass is caught. That's Rashard Higgins. Full sprint and into the end zone for the touchdown. A 56-yard sprint, and Cleveland comes right back.
Well, it's something that you really haven't seen consistently this year from the Cleveland Browns, and that's big plays. Back-to-back drive, big plays. The first time it was Josh Gordon, and that time it was Rashard Higgins running a slant pattern from the slot position and just splitting the safeties of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
First career touchdown catch for Rashard Higgins in his second NFL season and his 31st career game. Longest pass of the year for Kaiser.
Oh, what a huge play for Higgins. You see Watt out there, and he's bluffing, and he comes out for coverage, but then you got 2 safeties back deep to try and keep everything there in front of him, and Higgins, who isn't the fastest guy at wide receiver, is able to split both safeties and race his way on into the end zone. Beautiful play and execution by the Cleveland Browns.
Well, it has been an underachieving wide receiving core for the Browns, to say the least, this season. Certainly got a shot in the arm with the return of Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman's return from injury. Coleman, of course, has struggled. But finally, Rashard Higgins in his 31st career NFL game with his first touchdown. Kaiser's long touchdown pass to Gordon earlier was ruled out of bounds, so his first official touchdown pass of the day, and only his 10th of his rookie season. Short kick fielded by Toussaint just outside his own end zone. Breaks the initial tackle and is brought down right around the 18-yard line of the Steelers. Wednesday on CBS, it's a new amazing race in the new year. Teams that are tops in their field will compete for the $1 million prize. The Amazing Race season premiere Wednesday, 8/7 Central, only CBS. Well, we asked Hugh Jackson about what they plan to do at quarterback, and he was very candid. He said, look, we were already going down the road of feeling like we have to address the quarterback position in the offseason. I think everyone in Cleveland knows and expects that, but a nice moment for Kaiser there as Higgins does most of the work on the 56-yard catch and run for the touchdown. So 7-point game, and back comes Landry Jones and the Pittsburgh offense. Eli Rogers on the catch. But not much doing after the reception. Brian Body Calhoun was there, and he's had a very good season for this Cleveland defense.
I think this is a pretty important drive for both teams. After, not starting very fast, the Browns now have kind of woken up a little bit. And I think the Steelers now, their job is to respond. They've had back-to-back big plays against their defense. This is a big drive here for Landry Jones and the Steelers offense.
Pitch play. This is Ridley. Ridley has looked good. Football came loose. Cleveland says they have it, and the officials do as well. Boy, it came loose, and Jamar Taylor was there for the recovery. Only the 4th lost fumble on the season for the Steelers. Was it out before his elbow touched the ground? Elbow equals 2 feet. Certainly appeared to be in his grasp there. This will be close. It was Christian Kirksey, Adam, who dislodged the football for Cleveland. Every turnover subject to automatic review. What did you see?
Well, from that angle that we just saw, before the ball starts to move, I see elbow down. I saw no movement of the football whatsoever before the elbow was down. And to me, that looks like a no fumble.
The previous play is under review.
All right,
it always comes.
Certainly agrees with that assessment.
Yeah. Always comes back to, is there enough evidence? And in that case, I do believe there is. Should be Pittsburgh ball.
Mike Tomlin, who was nursing a little cold this week, trying to get himself right with the postseason just around the corner.
Boy, that could have been huge for the Cleveland defense. They had been on a drought before this game, 5 games without forcing a takeaway. And they had an interception earlier. This would have been huge to set up their offense inside the 30-yard line, but I think clearly this is going to be Pittsburgh ball.
Can't overstate just how desperate this Cleveland team is for a win and avoid putting their name in the NFL record books on the side that no one wants to be on. 0-16, only the Detroit Lions of 2008 have gone 0-16 in a season. The Browns team that has not won since Christmas Eve of last season, a home win over the then San Diego Chargers, and certainly appears clear from that vantage point. Ridley elbow down, then football out as Kirksey tried to force the fumble.
Don't you feel that on most of these reviews, you pretty much kind of have the answer within 30 seconds?
I've always felt like they should put a time limit. If you haven't figured it out in, say, 90 seconds or 2 minutes, you just kind of confirm the call on the field and we can all get on with the game. Of course, all final decisions are made by Al Riveron, the head of officials in New York, with his crew. And the longer this thing goes on, the longer you wonder
if it's going to work out for the Steelers, right? Because what are they discussing here? I think clearly it shows that the elbow was down, but there's no evidence that the ball was or was not moving. And are they going to go maybe with the argument that there's not indisputable, clear and obvious evidence that it was not a fumble, what they called on the field?
There are also issues with the clock, trying to get the clock set up if in fact they're going to overturn. Let's see what Boger says.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the 25-yard line. No adjustment to the game clock.
All right, so they do overturn the call. Appeared to be the right one, as Boger and company will have it 3rd and 2.
Would not be surprised to see the Steelers run it on this down.
So Jones from the gun here as they snap it from their own 25. Jones, quick strike. This is Bryant trying to break the initial tackle, but Schobert's so good, able to wrap him up and then wait for reinforcements. Jason McCourty, who has had some big moments this season, leads the charge. They dump Bryant for a loss of 3, and the Steelers will punt.
Well, that was such a good reaction from Joe Schobert, and I think the Steelers had the numbers out there. If Bryant was able to beat the tackle of Schobert, maybe he would have had something out there, but a good play, good recognition. Big reason why he's had over 130 tackles this season.
Jordan Berry, the 3rd-year punter, boots it away for the Steelers, and this is Peppers, will play it from his own 31. Peppers trying to cut back to find daylight. Adakevich giving chase. The Pro Bowl bound special teamer for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. It's a loss of 2 on the return and a punt of 45 yards. A busy second portion of this Week 17 Sunday coming up. Postseason picture continues to come together. The Bengals will take on the Ravens, Jaguars, Titans, and if Baltimore or Tennessee win, they punch their ticket to the playoffs. If they don't, that means the Chargers and the Bills still have a fighting chance at the wild card. Postseason berths are on the line. Week 17, you can catch it all right here on CBS. Updated look at the playoff picture. We told you Steelers playoff bound. They could finish no worse than second. And with a win today combined with a Jets win at New England, the Steelers would move into the 1 slot. Here's Kaiser after the long touchdown pass. That attempt is well short. It was Sean Spence applying the pressure for the Steelers. Browns with 2 timeouts, 5:20 on the clock. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I think that Keith Butler, the defensive coordinator for the Steelers here, is maybe through with playing passive and playing more coverage against DeShone Kizer. That time they brought a linebacker and a safety, put a little pressure on Kizer, but I would imagine the Steelers defense to start to heat things up a little bit here and put it on Kizer.
Hey, boy.
Butler, 3rd season as the Steelers defensive coordinator, 15th season overall here in Pittsburgh. Previously their longtime linebackers coach, as Hugh Jackson is going to take his 2nd timeout. Adam, what have you seen so far from DeShone Kizer?
Well, I thought early it was pretty shaky. He had some accuracy problems. He held the ball a little bit too long. But then I thought he bounced back extremely well. He had an opportunity to go downtown to Josh Gordon. He hits him in stride beautifully, burns the Steeler defense. A nice little shot to Rashard Higgins in the slot over the middle. And Higgins is able to do the rest. So I think it was a nice bounce back quarter for DeShone Kizer. He's just got to have to capitalize on what they've done here in the last 2 drives, try and make something happen in 3 straight.
And we spent some time with Kizer last night. He seemed to be resigned to the fact that the writing is on the wall, that they will be addressing and bringing in one, maybe even multiple quarterbacks next season. But all he can do is finish strongly. And right now he's got the Browns within 7. 1 timeout left. This is Crowell. Tries to cut back and inches out close to the 33-yard line. And we asked him if he had spoken to their new general manager, John Dorsey, and Kizer said they had not spoken till this point. Dorsey, of course, hired to replace Sashi Brown, who was fired in the first couple of days of December. And Dorsey, now their new football czar, will try to put it all together in the offseason.
A huge offseason, especially with all the high draft picks that they've stockpiled. Plenty of cap space, plenty of cash. This is the one that they've got to hit on.
Kizer on 3rd and 7. Nowhere to throw. He's going to try to run for it. Out past the 40. Nicely done. T.J. Watt, the rookie outside linebacker, finally brings it down, but not before Kizer runs for 9 and a Browns 1st down.
Well, it really is a nice job. Now, DeShone Kizer is the 2nd leading rusher for the Cleveland Browns, coming into this game with 358 yards and 5 touchdowns, and that was a good decision. It's not there. Use your athletic ability, pick up the 1st down.
Hey.
Nicely done.
Hey, you want to check this? Even spear here. Even spear. Even spear. Leave it on. Hey, we're going up there. 28. Yeah.
Mike Hilton was the man showing blitz. And the play clock down
False
to
start.
zeros.
Offense. Number 7. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
False start penalty on the quarterback, something you rarely see. So Mike Hilton, the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, putting the pressure on Kizer.
Left foot goes back before the snap.
Adam, did he hear the footsteps of Hilton, perhaps?
I would say so, based on the fact that he had 3 sacks last week against the Houston Texans, one of the best slot blitzers in the game right now.
First cornerback in NFL history to have 3 sacks in a game since the stat became official in 1982. Kizer eluding the pressure. He's going to run for it on 1st and 15, out of bounds. As again, Kizer does it with his legs. He picks up 9 here to set him up nicely on 2nd down. Stops the clock, 2nd and 6. Actually, that clock's still running, 3:20 to go and counting. And we remind you to keep it here. Verizon Halftime Report comes your way from New York. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach. I'll get you caught up all the latest scores and highlights. Week 17
on the Verizon halftime report. Hugh Jackson looking for what would be only his second win as Cleveland head coach since taking over before last season. Kaiser. White giving chase, and what a play by the rookie. Getting Kaiser around the shoestrings from the back. It's a loss of 1. Watt has had a sensational rookie season.
He sure has. He's done it all. He's been able to rush, he's played the run, and he's been able to cover. This is just a great reaction. He's starting to go inside to run a game, but then he sees Kaiser start to break contain. He goes down the line of scrimmage, lays out, and he gets Kaiser on the ground. What an athletic play by Watt on the outside.
7th sack of the season and the 3rd time they've gotten to Kaiser in this game. Watt certainly a candidate for the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Kaiser on 3rd and 7, well short. Looking in the direction of Corey Coleman, who does not have a catch yet in this game. And Kaiser, by the way, only 4 completed passes on the day, 4 of 10, including the long catch and run for a touchdown by Higgins, and the Browns will punt.
A nice series for the Steelers after Kaiser scrambling for a first down, getting it together, making some plays. Really good job of getting off the field.
Could be the final play before the 2-minute warning. As Colquitt trying to angle this one inside the 20. He's been good with those punts on the season, and he does it perfectly here as they will pin Landry Jones and company inside their own 10 when we come back.
On CBS is sponsored by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army. And by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network.
Another reminder to keep it here for the Verizon halftime report. We'll get you to JB and the fellas in New York. Get you caught up around the league. Week 17 postseason pictures starting to materialize around the NFL. 2nd seed in the AFC at the moment. The Pittsburgh Steelers right now up 7 over Cleveland here in the regular season finale. Jones up the field. It is caught. What a catch by Juju Smith-Schuster as he continues to put it on this Cleveland defense.
Boy, it's pretty remarkable what he's able to do. McCourty allows him to get inside, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who's 6'1", 215 pounds, is able to box him out as he goes up for the football. Unreal how good this kid is.
46 yards on the catch. Jones over the middle. This is Bryant. Cuts back inside the 35. Bryant still on his feet. Close to the 30. It'll be another Steelers first down. A pickup of 15 as Smith-Schuster and Bryant picking up the slack for the absent Antonio Brown.
First time we've really seen it today, but the shallow cross concept in this offense has been deadly against other defenses.
Steelers down to 1 timeout. Football is loose. Cleveland's got it. Caleb Brantley with the fumble recovery. 2nd turnover committed by the Steelers.
Boy, how about this? Really nicely executed blitz with Nassib coming inside on the right side, and then it's Myles Garrett with speed on the other side is able to get to Landry Jones. Beautiful rush by Myles Garrett on the left tackle. And what a huge play again for the Cleveland Brown defense.
Garrett, with his 11th game played of the season, has had to deal through an assortment of injuries. The high ankle sprain that had him shelved the first 4 weeks, and the concussion middle of the season. A huge defensive play to create the turnover and the takeaway for Cleveland. 1st and 10. Kaiser with 41 seconds left. Cleveland down to their final timeout. Gordon, the intended receiver. You see him out embarking in the direction of the officials. It was T.J. Watt applying the pressure for the Steelers.
Well, you really got to hand it to the Browns defense. After not starting very well, making some pretty big plays here and forcing some turnovers.
Adam, what's Kaiser thinking here? One timeout, 41 seconds left.
51.
Well, you got one shot in the middle of the field, but that's going to be really your only shot. I still think you can work the entire field and throw it in the middle.
Zane Gonzalez, long field goal of the season, 54. It is Vince Williams getting to Kaiser. Fourth sack by the Steelers defense. That'll force Hugh Jackson to take their final timeout and stop the clock with 35 seconds left.
They bring it from everywhere, inside, outside, defensive line. This is another mismatch. Earlier in the game, it was Isaiah Crowell matched up with a defensive lineman. This time, it's Williams coming through. Duke Johnson has zero chance to pick him up, and Kaiser has no choice. He can't even have enough time right there to throw the ball away or get rid of it. That just happened too fast.
Williams, the 50-year man out of Florida State, the former 6th-round pick, and he's had a big year. Second most sacks of any Steeler defender behind only Cam Hayward.
The Steelers doing it a little bit differently. You know, a lot of times it's having the two dominant edge guys that pressure the quarterback. The Steelers kind of do it from all over the place. They had 16 from outside linebackers this year, 21 from the defensive line, 5 from the linebackers, and 8 from the secondary. So Keith Butler doing a great job disguising and designing pressure on other offenses.
Here they come again. Kaiser as they pick it up well. Johnson on the little check down catch. But well short. T.J. Watt on the tackle just before the 40-yard line. A pickup of only a half dozen. As Johnson having a little conversation with Watt. And the Steelers will take their final timeout, perhaps to get Landry Jones and company into field goal range with 26 seconds left.
You never know. They came extremely close, albeit in a backed-up situation. They had the partial block punt earlier, and they've got a pretty good special teams unit.
Pretty good genes in that Watt family. Of course, a frustrating year for JJ. The season ending very early, but this kid TJ Watt making a name for himself very quickly. First-round pick out of Wisconsin, certainly in the mix and the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year this season. Actually got a chance to hang with his older brother JJ last week in Houston. A little pregame photo op. And one of the reasons why the Steelers parted ways with James Harrison, of course, that whole deal before last week. This is Rodgers, able to get close to the 30, 46 yards in the punt by Colquitt, 14 on the return by Rodgers. Adam, what about Landry Jones? He had the pick early, then the fumble on a terrific play by Myles Garrett. What have you seen so far from him?
Well, I think he's done a pretty good job. He had a couple negative plays, but you can see here he's been able to connect pretty well with his wide receivers. I think wide receivers are playing pretty well for him so far in this game. Juju Smith-Schuster is having a whale of a game, and he's been able to exploit the mistakes of the Cleveland Browns secondary. So far, I think he's done exactly what they've asked him to do.
He had only taken 11 snaps all season before last week. Actually, with last week, I beg your pardon. As he makes only his 5th career start, and it looks like Mike Tomlin and company are just going to let those final seconds come off the clock. Well, the Cleveland Browns trying to avoid NFL infamy today, looking for their first victory on the final weekend of the regular season. 21-14 your score as we reach halftime in Pittsburgh. We'll take a break. Halftime coming up next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
Frigid temperatures have warmed a little bit as they've gone up from about 9 degrees at kickoff up into the teens. It's getting toasty here in Pittsburgh. Happy New Year, Spiro Ditas alongside Adam Archuleta. Of course, we know the story for the Browns, trying to avoid becoming the 3rd team since the merger to finish the season winless. showing some fight right now within 7. What have you seen?
That shaky start, and it didn't look good early. But then I thought the defense started to battle back a little bit. They forced a couple turnovers, and then it was the offense capitalizing and getting some big plays against this Steeler defense. So a little bit more life coming into it for the Browns. They just have to have a stronger second half.
Quarterbacks, Landry Jones, of course, making the start, only the 5th of his career, with Ben Roethlisberger getting the day off. And some of the numbers between those two. Kaiser, the long touchdown pass to Rashard Higgins, as they continue to go back and forth.
I think you have to be pretty impressed, and you have to like what you see from Landry Jones. 3 incompletions. He did have the interception early in the game, but he's had a pretty good contribution from his wide receivers today. Juju Smith-Schuster has been on fire, and Martavis Bryant has had some nice catches as well.
All right, first half stats as these two teams meet in Week 17 for a second straight year. Steelers with the come-from-behind win in last year's season finale, 7-point differential. The 2 Pittsburgh turnovers looming large. And keep in mind, they also had a fumble by Fitzgerald Toussaint overturned correctly by the officials. But some of the pictures so far in this game, the early interception by Jones, by Peppers.
A great play by Peppers, and then here right before halftime, Myles Garrett coming around the corner and getting to Jones's backside as there's pressure in his face. So a little bit more of an inspired effort here in the second quarter for the Cleveland Browns.
Peppers is going to play it from just inside his own end zone. Peppers will get the Browns some excellent field position as he crosses the 30 and returns it 35 yards. As Peppers doing a little bit of everything today for the Browns. A pick, a sack, and a nifty return to get the second half going. How about the first half possessions? They certainly didn't shoot out of the gates with Kaiser struggling. A couple of 3-and-outs to begin, but then back-to-back touchdown drives.
They had poor field position, and so they really didn't have a chance to get anything going. But again, they've been able to hit some big explosive plays against this secondary, and that's putting them right back into shape.
There's Isaiah Crowell. Didn't have many opportunities in the first half for Cleveland, as that is only his 6th rush of the day. Now, keep in mind, Kaiser had one of his best games, one of the few games he's had success this season back against the Steelers in Cleveland in Week 1, a game that they lost by only 3 points.
Well, that seemed like so long. It almost doesn't even feel like it's the same season.
Left. 5-1.
But I think, Antonio Brown pretty much took over and dominated in the second half of that game, and that was that.
This is a Browns offense that is dead last in scoring and has committed more turnovers than any team in the league, but so far showing some gumption here in Week 17. That's Josh Gordon with the 11-yard first down reception. And for Gordon, his second catch, he had the 54-yarder that initially was ruled a touchdown in the first half. As Gordon plays only his 5th game since his reinstatement.
Yeah. And really, the big part for Gordon is it was nice to get him in the lineup. But this is going to be a monster offseason for Gordon to get in shape, get ingrained to the daily team activities, and try and get ready for next season.
Here's Crowell on first down. Get inside the 45. Boy, I tell you what, Gordon certainly looks the part. He was out here in shorts and a t-shirt before the game in single-digit temperature with the snow coming down early. He looks like $1 million, but Hugh Jackson reiterating just what you said, that this offseason will be vital to try to get himself back to his all-pro form.
Showing off a little bit. It kind of reminds me of you. I think, I could see you doing something like that.
If I had that physique, I'd be out there with no sleeves and shorts before any game. What a physical specimen he is. This is Kaiser, a little bit high with the pass. It's caught. Njoku breaking a tackle. And look at the big tight end rumbling down to the 10. TJ Watt has to sprint and get him from the back, but not before Njoku picks up 34 yards to set Cleveland up with a 1st and goal.
A really nice job from Deshaun Kaiser, and Mike Hilton is blitzing off the edge in the slot. So he knows that this ball has to come out extremely quickly. You got defensive linemen dropping, and Njoku is able to just hook up and use that great athletic ability to run with the ball after the catch.
This is Crowell getting close to the 5-yard line.
Handoff goes to
Now listen, everyone knows that Kaiser has struggled this year. The turnovers, his issues in the red zone. All he can do is finish strongly. He's a likable kid. And certainly tried his hardest, and who knows what the offseason holds, but Kaiser right now showing some fight as Cleveland now plays within 7. See the issues that he has had with the turnovers. 6 interceptions in the red zone and also a couple of fumbles. 8 red zone turnovers by Kaiser in all. This is Crowell again. That is Crowell's 200th rushing attempt of the season. Crowell will be one of the Browns' free agents this year, and one of the decisions that John Dorsey will have to make. 3rd and goal.
Well, because of the red zone problems that they've had in giving the ball away, it's caused Hugh Jackson to be extremely conservative. You see a lot of runs inside the 5-yard line, and really, DeShone Kizer has been the best weapon, using his legs and scrambling when they get in this part of the field.
Kizer throwing, end zone, it's caught for the Browns, touchdown. It's Higgins with his 2nd reception into the end zone.
Higgins, touchdown.
And the Cleveland Browns on the verge of tying this game at 21.
A lot of action happening before the snap. William Gay here, we have Talking here, and they let Rashard Higgins cross the field underneath. You see Gay start to drop off, and he loses sight of Higgins as he crosses the field. Originally, I thought Kizer missed him, but he sees him late and gives him a great ball in the end zone.
So Rashard Higgins, the 2nd-year receiver out of Colorado State, first 30 career games, 0 touchdown catches. Today, he's got 2. 7 plays, 68 yards in just over 4 minutes, all tied at 21 on CBS. How about the Cleveland Browns coming back to tie this game with 14 unanswered points? Rashard Higgins, 2nd career touchdown, both coming in this game today. And the Browns all tied with the Steelers here, opening couple of minutes of the 3rd quarter. Touchdown passes number 10 and 11 on the season for DeShone Kizer. That is Landry Jones and Pittsburgh respond. This is Juju Smith-Schuster from inside his own 5, breaking a tackle. Here he goes, the rookie into open terrain, breaking tackles, and the 21-year-old is into the end zone for the touchdown. And once again, bringing the opposition to its knees. Juju Smith-Schuster is a bad, bad boy. 96 yards on the kick return.
This kid is incredible. Great block by the running back, Fitzgerald Toussaint, breaking tackles and just opens it up en route to the end zone. Oh my goodness, this guy, unreal.
Kid wants to hit for the cycle, it looks like, in this game. A touchdown catch, receiving, and now a 96-yard kick return for 6 to restore order for the Steelers.
It's really, really unbelievable what kind of second half to this season that this guy has had, the impact that he's made on the offensive side of the ball, opposite Antonio Brown. And we start talking about, you know, the big 3 on offense. We might have to start talking about the big 4 if he keeps up playing like this.
And the fact that this kid is only 21 years of age is a scary thought for the rest of the NFL. 62nd overall pick, 2nd round out of USC. He's the youngest player in the league this season. He said he doesn't sleep much, but doesn't look like he needs much shut-eye at this stage of his career. Look at the afternoon that he's putting together. Incredible.
That's really unbelievable. In most of his catches, from Big Ben are first downs or touchdowns. Half of his catches this season have gone for first down or a touchdown, and he's had 356 yards before this game after the catch. Incredible.
First kick return for a touchdown by a Steeler since Antonio Brown in 2010. This is Jabril Peppers with a nice little nifty run. Late penalty flag is thrown right around the 25-yard line. Looks like Peppers may be a bit shaken up on the play.
During return, holding, receiving team, number 44. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
All right, that's Nate Orchard on the penalty as the athletic trainers come onto the field. And we'll take a look at Peppers, who is visibly frustrated. Now that'll get your offensive coordinator pleased. Gets him off the hook, at least for the moment. And
well, what it does is now, when teams try and figure out, okay, we're going to dedicate this guy to Antonio Brown, we're going to play Le'Veon Bell like this, and then now what do we do about number 19? So he opens up so many more options for Todd Haley and Ben Roethlisberger, and is getting hot at just the right time.
It's funny, you listen to Smith-Schuster speak himself. He said he didn't expect to have really a big, impactful rookie year. Boy, how mistaken was he, as he continues to be a revelation for the Steelers. How did the Browns respond here? Suddenly down 7 again. Kaiser's pass intended for the tight end Seth DeValve, and it falls incomplete. Of course, the big story over the past week has been James Harrison, released a couple of days before Christmas by the Steelers. Has been here for so many years, such an integral piece defensively, former defensive player of the year for the Steelers, and then 3 days later signed by Bill Belichick and New England. And leave it to Belichick to tweak this Steelers fan base and Mike Tomlin. That was the talk of the locker room, of course, early part of the week, as Isaiah Crowell is blown up in the backfield, and then Tomlin kind of told his troops, look, we've said what we've said. It's time to move on. And boy, it'll certainly add a little wrinkle to a potential meeting between those two teams. And Harrison pouring a little salt on the wounds
I'm sure
for Steeler
that,
Nation.
I'm sure that the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are pretty fired up at James Harrison going over there to New England. And I think as players, you understand that business is business, and that's kind of the way things go. But one of the big reasons is the play of T.J. Watt, like on that last play. It's a lot easier for this team and this staff to let him go.
Harrison, by the way, is active in that game against the Jets. Kaiser's going to run for it on 3rd and 15, and he has it. What a play by the rookie. Needed the 22. He picks up 16, and Cleveland with a much-needed first down.
Well, it's fairly easy. Everybody underneath is playing man coverage, and they just completely clear it out. Kaiser is able to climb up inside the pocket, get inside the A-gap, and there's nobody in second support to get to Kaiser. What a run, but somehow, some way, you have to have a better reaction and not allow a quarterback to scramble for 15 yards on 3rd down.
3 rushes for Kaiser today, 34 yards, and he's picked up multiple first downs. Fakes the handoff, read option play, is going to run again. Kaiser out of bounds right around the 28-yard line. There was a flag thrown at the end of the play. Mike Tomlin barking towards the officials. The flag thrown towards the Steelers secondary. It's a run of 5 if it stands.
Holding, offense, number 19. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's Corey Coleman, who today is playing his 7th game since returning from the broken hand. 2nd straight year that he has sustained a broken bone in his hand. Missed 8 games this season. And still has not quite developed into the player that they were hoping for when they took him 15th overall in 2016.
He's got great physical tools, great speed that you're looking for. Just that when he's had some opportunities this year to make some big plays and just hasn't been able to come down with those plays, it's going to be a big offseason for him as well.
1st and 15 after the penalty. Kaiser fakes the end around, throws up the seam, and it is caught. What a play by Gordon, showing that physical ability, lunging down for it. They pick up 17 yards and move the chains again.
Well, really a nice job by Josh Gordon, number 12. He's going to cross the field, and the Steelers are going to play his zone coverage and pass it off. Artie Burns almost sees the pass concept and is able to fall off for the interception, but because of the effort from Gordon, he's able to beat Burns to the ball.
This is Duke Johnson. Out past the 37, close to the 38-yard line. Johnson has been so good for this Cleveland offense that really has had nothing going this year. Most catches by a Browns running back in a season in franchise history. I don't think there's any doubt he's been their MVP till this point. One of their 3 touchdowns so far in this game. Seventh play of the drive, 2nd and 8 from the 37. Kaiser's pass is caught. It's Higgins. A pickup of 7. Tackled on the play by Mike Hilton, the reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Week with that historic performance in the victory in Houston last week. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, this is going to be interesting because, you know, the Browns have not run the ball very effective in this game, and this is going to be 3rd and a long one. And normally this would be one of those downs where you run it, but I got to believe that if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you've got to keep an eye on Kaiser.
Johnson needs the 45. That extra little lunge gives Cleveland the first down. Looks like Spencer Drango is a little bit slow to get to his feet. Sean Spence and Tyson Alualu combine on the tackle. It'll be 1st and 10 Cleveland, and this is the best that the Browns offense, Adam, has looked in a long time.
And, you know, on the offensive side for the Steelers, they're sitting a lot of their Pro Bowlers, but outside of Cameron Hayward, this is the starting unit for the Pittsburgh Steelers on defense. So the Cleveland Brown offense right now is not playing against backups, and they're moving the ball quite effectively.
It's a good point. Most of their regulars defensively have been on the field till this point. 1st and 10. Kaiser's going to tuck it away, uses his legs again. Kaiser! Plenty of open real estate in front of him, runs out of bounds as he continues to punish the Steelers with his feet. Picks up 20 and another first down.
It's going to be an issue. Anthony Chickalo, number 56, runs off the field, and Alualu, number 94, he's the next guy to try and contain Kaiser. That is not going to be a good race for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And right now, Kaiser is really doing a nice job of picking his spots on when to run and gashing the Steeler defense.
The leading rusher by a long shot so far in this game. You see his rushing numbers, over 50 yards on the day. L.T. Walton on the tackle of Crowell there. And this is what they have done on the ground so far, with Kaiser starting to get comfortable against this Steelers defense. 2nd and 10 here. What does Hugh Jackson dial up against the Steelers?
Hey, we're Rogering. Roger. Yeah.
Kaiser, the Toledo, Ohio native, grew up about 90 minutes from Cleveland. Can he get the Browns a win here in Week 17? Kaiser is whacked. L.J. Fort untouched. And sack number 5 for the Steelers.
Free hitter off the edge. Released by the back. And nobody accounted for Fort coming off the edge. Kaiser has no clue whatsoever that there was an unblocked player in his face, and a huge play by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Kaiser's pretty lucky that he was able to hang on to that football. That football almost came out.
I was just thinking the same thing. What a play by Kaiser to hold on to it. 3rd and 17. Kaiser up the middle. It is caught. That'll be the first reception of the day for Coleman. And that will be enough for a Cleveland first down. How about that pass from Kaiser? Needed 17. They get 18. It'll be first down.
It's really a nice job by Coleman to feel the zone and get right behind the zone dropper and get inside. Kaiser has really nice protection, but Coleman is able to get inside, and that's a really tough play for a cornerback out there, and outside leverage with no help to play that deep in cut.
Right.
13th play of the drive. Here's Kaiser, first down, up the seam, his pass is intercepted, then the football comes loose. Did Hilton have it, and now they rule incomplete? Boy, Mike Hilton is going to be thinking about this one tonight. Had it, but just couldn't squeeze it. And Kaiser getting a huge break.
You could not have played this any better if you're Mike Hilton. See, he never really quite has control of the football, but boy, did he play that route. He starts outside leverage. He sees the route. Watch the undercut. He undercuts, looks back at the quarterback, and plays it beautifully.
Boy, how about Higgins, Adam, playing defender on that play to jar it loose. As Cleveland retains, this is Crowell. And what does Kaiser do now as he gets a second chance at life here with the clock now down to nearly 3 minutes? This long, prolonged Cleveland drive continues. It'll be third down.
A Steeler defense has been really good on third downs this season, but so far in this game, they just not have been able to get off the field consistently. And really, here in the second half, it's because of the scramble ability of Deshaun Kaiser. Now, the Steelers have playing a lot of man coverage in this situation. Let's see if they play zone here to get more eyes on Kaiser.
Drive is chewed up now over 8 minutes. Kaiser, 3rd and 10. He's going to run for it. Lead blockers. There's a flag thrown. Kaiser needed the 18-yard line. Didn't appreciate something at the end of that play. Sean Davis.
Holding.
And this one's coming back.
Offense, number 34. 10-yard penalty. Replay, third down.
It's on Crowell, the running back. That's the second holding penalty against Cleveland today.
Crowell initially with a nice block. Artie Burns is going to blitz up inside and then try and hit Crowell with a spin move. And as he gets around there on that spin, you see Crowell maybe just grab him. Yeah, you see the hand right there. Grab the jersey. It's a better job of rallying by the Steelers defense. Zone coverage. Kaiser almost picked it up, but everybody was able to rally up and get him before he was able to pick up any yardage.
8 penalties against the Browns, none so far against Pittsburgh. 3rd and 20. Need the 13 to move the chains. Kaiser's pass incomplete. And not even close to the intended receiver, Gordon. And on 4th and 20, we'll see what Hugh Jackson does here. Long field goal attempt of the season for Zane Gonzalez. His rookie kicker is 54 yards. And now Gonzalez, the young man they took with their 7th overall pick, will come out and will attempt a field goal here. Let's see exactly where they've spotted the football. This will be a 51-yard attempt. Britton Colquitt is the holder. Gonzalez, the Arizona State product, didn't have to kick in these kind of conditions much in college, and he bangs it in from 51 yards out. And the Browns able to inch a little bit closer, within 4 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. AT&T. And by 12 Strong. In theaters January 19th.
Well, some of the pretty views of Pittsburgh downtown from the Duquesne Incline, located just on the other side of the Allegheny River. Incline about 800 feet long and 400 feet high. Some beautiful shots of the Pittsburgh skyline. The sun continues to peek through the clouds. Happy New Year. Nice to have you with us for this regular season finale from the Steel City. 4-point Steelers lead. This is Fitzgerald, Tucson. Crosses the 20, and we'll have the Steelers starting at about their own 23 when we come back. The confluence of the three rivers outside Heinz Field. The water's starting to come to a freeze with temperatures in the single digits at kickoff on this New Year's Eve day, New Year's Eve afternoon, I should say, from Pittsburgh. 28-24. Steelers with under 2 minutes to play in this third quarter. Here's Landry Jones, who's completed 10 straight passes over the middle. This is Juju Smith-Schuster. 122 return yards in this game and 127 receiving. He picks up 6 more. We asked Mike Tomlin about the decision to rest Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell, and he said it was an easy call. And keep in mind, Adam, they've had injury issues to both Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell each of their last 4 playoff runs, as this pass from Jones to Toussaint is ruled incomplete. And so we asked Tomlin about it yesterday, and he said, look, if I can airmail those guys all healthy to our first postseason game, he kind of gave us a look as if to say, you kidding me? It was really an easy decision he made.
Yeah, I get the argument that you have a chance to play for home field, but when you look at it, this team really has the makings of doing something well. And I think whether you're on the road, at home, the key is for these guys is to get everybody healthy. Let's get our superstars on the field and then maybe worry about if we're going to play at home or away.
AFC North champs for a 3rd time in 4 years, 6th time they've done it in Tomlin's 11 years here, as Martavis Bryant builds on his numbers on the day. Bryant with his 5th catch, he picks up 17. He's got 57 yards receiving and a first down for the Steelers.
Really nice protection, and give Jones a lot of credit. Standing in there against the Cleveland Browns blitz, and he steps right up in there in the pocket and hits Bryant with perfect timing over the middle.
So Landry Jones starting to pick up some steam here, 17 to 21. He fumbles the snap, and Jones averting disaster as he falls back on it back at the 34-yard line. Just to get back to Martavis Bryant, what a up and down year it's been for him.
A low snap. I think you got to remember we're working with our 3rd center right here, Chris Hubbard, who had to come in for B.J. Finney, who was playing for Marquise Pouncey. So good chance you're going to have some snap issues.
So it's a loss of 9, and that results in officially the 3rd team sack for Greg Williams' defense. Could be the final play of the quarter. Jones taking a low snap underneath, and it is caught. That's Grimble with his first reception of the day. We are through 3 in Pittsburgh in a 4-point Steelers lead. Heinz Field, downtown Pittsburgh on this New Year's Eve, 28 to 24. Steelers in front of the Browns. Steelers at the moment the number 2 seed in the AFC. Can finish no lower than that 2 seed. It appears as though that's where they will be, with New England comfortably in front at home over the Jets. Another bad snap. I know that B.J. Finney had to leave the game, so Chris Hubbard, who had not taken a snap at center this season, and clearly right now having some issues in the exchange with Landry Jones.
The first one was low, and this one is going to be to Jones way to his right. He barely gets his right hand on that, and it was starting to be a pretty promising drive. 2 bad snaps, and it's almost understandable. Hubbard is not a center by trade. He's a utility guy that's kind of pressed in there for emergency action.
They lose 11 yards on that play, and it's got to be frustrating. Here's Landry Jones finally waiting for his chance. Only his 5th career start in 5 years, and then his starting center goes down, who, by the way, is a backup for the Steelers. And something that they're going to have to figure out here. Fair catch signaled by Peppers, 36-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by State Farm, here to help life go right.
This iconic Steelers franchise looking to add a 7th Vince Lombardi trophy to its collection. That very impressive sight when you walk into their offices here in downtown Pittsburgh.
Hey, 51.
Trying to take care of this Cleveland Browns team, looking for its first victory on the final Sunday of the season. This is Isaiah Crowell. Inches a little bit closer to the 40. A pickup of a couple, tackled by T.J. Watt. And for the Browns, this is all they wanted, just a chance against the Steelers team resting all of their stars, especially offensively, Adam.
And again, they're putting themselves in a spot where they can potentially get it done. But they have not been a great fourth quarter team this season. And in this game, they have to be at their absolute best.
Browns dead last in the league in scoring offense, averaging just 14 today with 24. Kaiser wrapped up. Can he escape? He cannot. Tyson Alu getting to Kaiser for the second time today.
What an effort. Alu is kind of known as a run-stopping guy. This is just a great effort. Kaiser holding the football, trying to make something happen. And as Kaiser tries to step up, Alu just throws Spencer Drango to the outside, comes inside, and comes down with a sack. What a game today for number 94. Getting a lot of action for Cameron Hayward.
Alu coming over in free agency from Jacksonville, the former 10th overall pick. This is Johnson on the check down. Johnson in open field. Inside Steelers territory. Football is loose. Who's got it? And Pittsburgh has recovered. William Gay jarred it loose. A defensive gem as Mitchell with the recovery.
What a punch from William Gay coming from the inside, and just when the Cleveland Browns have a big play, the Steelers answer with a fumble.
Well, Duke Johnson with his fourth fumble of the season, a second that they have lost, and this one couldn't have come at a worse time. Down 4 after a huge play. It's picked up 32 yards, but William Gay with one of the biggest defensive plays that he's made this season, jarring the football loose. Mitchell the recovery, and the Steelers back in business. This is Martavis Bryant. Tackled on the play by Jason McCourty. Adam, take us back to the fumble.
Now, how's this for hand-eye coordination and pinpoint accuracy? William Gay is going to come inside and then just lunge right for that football. And Duke Johnson has no idea what just hit him. Excellent play by Gay to make that play and give his offense the football.
Boy, that had to hurt Gay's hand. You saw him kind of come down with the contact right on Johnson's face mask first. And then able to knock the football loose. 2nd and 2. Jones's pass far side of the field is caught. Smith-Schuster continues what has been his best all-around game of the season. The 96-yard kick return for the touchdown if you've just joined us. His 10th catch, make it 9th catch, 143 yards receiving, not to mention the touchdown reception.
The way they're playing now, the Steelers are going to have, be it that Antonio Brown is able to be healthy, they have 3 receivers that can all run deep. They can all run with the ball in their hands after the catch, and they can all make huge plays. So this is going to be a huge challenge for any defense that comes across the Steelers when the playoffs start.
This is Stephen Ridley. So Smith-Schuster obviously making a name for himself this season in the NFL. Over the 100-yard mark for the 3rd time this season. He had that monster 193-yard game of 7 catches against Detroit back in Week 8. And so what an afternoon he's putting together here in Week 17. Jones play action, fakes the handoff to Ridley. And the tight end James, who's been quiet, a pickup of 2, tackled by Jamar Taylor. But don't sell this Greg Williams Cleveland defense short. They've given up some big plays in this game, but they've been a unit that has fought and have made a lot of strides from the defense that we've seen from the Browns the last couple of years.
They have, and here's the one thing is that it's been the one catastrophic play at just terrible time in the game where they get caught in a blitz or somebody hits them for a big play. You know, that's kind of been what their Achilles heel has been this season.
Jones' pass is caught. That's McDonald. Taking on 3 tacklers on the play. He'll be a couple of yards short. Needed the Cleveland 41 and pick up only 6. And Mike Tomlin will send out his punt team on 4th down. So Greg Williams' defense does its job. Able to get off the field, and this will be Jordan Berry, the 30-year punter out of Eastern Kentucky, to boot it away from his own 45. Peppers signals fair catch, and now flag is thrown. So that is a 35-yard punt as Berry angles it exactly where he wanted it to go, inside the 20.
Member of the kicking team voluntarily going out of bounds, number 27. 5-yard penalty after the end of the kick. First down.
That is the first penalty against the Steelers in this game at the 9:14 mark of the 4th quarter. Impressive.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life. With the right guidance, everyone can be good at life. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by the 2018 Ford F-150, it doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
All those terrible towels, such a staple of Steelers fans here in Pittsburgh. It was the brainchild of their former great radio voice, Myron Cope, who came up with the idea during their playoff run in 1975. And the magic, of course, worked as the Steelers would go on to beat Dallas in Super Bowl V. One of their 6 Super Bowl titles. Most of any franchise in the NFL.
We're going to 51. We're going to 50. Hurry, hurry,
How does Kaiser handles this? With the volume starting to pick up, Crowell is blown up and he is irate. Stephon Tuitt making first contact. It's a loss of 3.
Well, Kaiser switches the play to the right side because of the presence on Sean Davis, the strong safety, and boy, Stephon Tuitt just absolutely destroyed the right side of that Cleveland Brown offensive line. I'd be pretty upset as well.
Crowell just 14 attempts, 19 yards in this game. Very little running room against the Steelers. 2nd and 13. Kaiser up the seam. The pass nearly picked off the hands of Joe Hayden, the former Pro Bowler for the Cleveland Browns, facing his former team for the 2nd time this season.
Now, coming on the right side of your screen at the end of the play, Joe Hayden plays this again absolutely perfectly. He undercuts it. There is an alley to throw that football into. Hayden undercuts that route and almost is able to come down with a beautiful interception.
Hayden returned last week from that 5-game absence, the fractured fibula that he sustained in mid-November. His value never more evident than during his absence. What an addition he's been. 3rd and 13. Kaiser under pressure, check down to Johnson, breaks a tackle, Johnson, open field, and he has the Cleveland first down. And this time is able to hold on to the football. It's a pickup of 17 yards. What a play by Johnson.
TJ Watt almost made a great play initially. And then I thought just for a second, Javon Hargrave, the nose tackle, number 79, he was going to chase this down. Look at the big man move out there. He's almost able to get to Duke Johnson, but a great reverse field inside and a huge play for the Browns.
Clock running inside of 8 minutes as Johnson is cut down. Mike Hilton able to sneak through that Cleveland offensive line and getting Johnson around the ankles, a loss of 4.
Boy, he really is a nice blitzer, not only in the run-pass game. Kaiser holds this to the last possible second. Halfback draw, and Hilton reads it perfectly. Great timing right there by Keith Butler, the defensive coordinator, to send Hilton, and he makes another play in the backfield.
Smallest guy in their roster, undrafted, joined their practice squad late last season. and then won the starting nickel job in training camp back in August.
Here he comes.
Here comes Hilton again off the edge. Johnson is there to pick it up. Kaiser's pass on 2nd and 13, incomplete. You see Gordon screaming for a flag that never came, and now there is a late penalty marker thrown. It was William Gay on the coverage.
Holding. Defense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Gordon gets his wish.
Zone pressure number 22 right there. You see the hold right around the hip of Josh Gordon. And I thought that was a pretty good call.
Very subtly done by Gay, but a good call by the officials all over it. And only the second penalty against the Steelers. Under 7 minutes left. Can the Steelers find that ever-elusive first win here in Week 17? Kaiser hit on the throw, and that pass is intercepted. Sean Davis. Pressure coming from Artie Burns, and Kaiser forced into another pick. What a play by Sean Davis, 3rd interception of his season and the 4th of his 2-year career. The former 2nd-round pick out of Maryland, able to thwart another Cleveland drive and get the football back to Landry Jones. Run play call. This is Ridley, able to find the edge, getting downhill to the Cleveland 40, a pickup of 7. Adam, take us back to the interception.
Well, they absolutely fooled him, showing pressure here, but then they're going to bring it here, and Duke Johnson releases on a passing route. So either Kaiser didn't check it or Duke Johnson did not recognize the blitz. One of those two things happened, but that's because of the clever disguise of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and they forced Kaiser into the interception.
4th straight game that Keith Butler's defense has posted a pick, and this one couldn't have come at a better time for the Steelers. 2nd and 3. Jones playing behind a makeshift offensive line. Chris Hubbard, if you've just joined us, having to move over to center where he had not taken a snap this season. That was because B.J. Finney, who was starting for Marquise Pouncey today. Pouncey, the Pro Bowler, given the day off, and Finney went down. So patchwork offensive line, and right now just trying to figure it out with a 3rd and 8 coming up.
I thought for the most part they've done a pretty solid job. Remember, they're missing 2 Pro Bowlers, Marquise Pouncey and David DeCastro, who, DeCastro was having a season unlike any other guard in National Football League. So those are 2 big misses on their offensive line. So I think they've done a pretty solid job.
Another low snap. Jones pass finds the hands of Toussaint. And so he will be well short of the first down. He picks up only 2. And very little time coming off the clock as we come up on 5 minutes left.
Now this game is starting to become a thing. 3rd bad snap, the 2nd low snap of the game. Jones does the best job he can to just pick that ball off of the ground and get it out of his hands as quickly as possible. But these balls are starting to get away from the center, Chris Hubbard, on a regular basis.
Landry Jones, who led the Steelers to a come-from-behind win over Cleveland in the regular season finale last year. Open for another win here, but right now their lead at 4 as the play clock whittles down to 0. Steelers will take the delay of game here and try to get Jordan Berry
Number 4,
a little bit more space.
That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Penalty, however, is declined. And so Berry will kick it again here on 4th and 6. Peppers will signal fair catch, and he will have it at the 15-yard line. So a 28-yard punt. And now here comes the 21-year-old rookie, Deshaun Kaiser, after throwing that last interception. How does the rookie react here with 4:30 remaining and the Browns down 4?
I'm a little interested to see what Keith Butler is going to do on this drive because, you know, is he going to bank that 4 minutes? They have to go 85 yards to score a touchdown. Pressure has been pretty effective here in the second half against DeShone Kizer and the Cleveland Browns. So is he going to continue to do what he's been effective, or is he going to play more of a soft defense and force them to drive all the way down the field?
What did Kizer tell us last night? He just wants to play free in this game and let it all out there. He's got his chance. Down 4. Johnson. Record-setting season as a Browns running back catching the football. Picks up 7. Good first down play there. Tackled by William Gay, who had the huge forced fumble earlier in the quarter. As that clock continues to run. You see Kaiser's numbers, 14 of 26, 277 yards. But that last interception looming large. Here comes Hilton with the edge blitz. Kaiser's pass batted down and incomplete. Intended for Coleman. Well played by Artie Burns. Burns, one of the other high draft picks in that Steelers secondary. And it will be 3rd and 3. We welcome those of you that have been watching other action around the league. Week 17, Steelers, Browns coming down the home stretch here in Pittsburgh. Steelers locked into that number 2 seed at the moment. And the Browns, of course, trying to avoid NFL infamy and avoid becoming the 3rd team since the merger to finish a season winless. Kaiser's pass up to seam. It's caught. It's Gordon breaking free. Crosses the 45. Gordon inside Steelers territory and finally brought down by Hayden. Big pickup for Cleveland. A 33-yard catch and run by Gordon.
The blitz off of DeShone Kizer's left side, and they're completely going to drop Josh Gordon in a simple little hitch route. Everybody clears out of the middle, and Kizer spots the flaw in the defense. He gives Gordon an accurate football, and Josh Gordon is able to go out there and do the rest. So a really nice pre-snap read and getting the ball out from DeShone Kizer.
Josh Gordon over the 100-yard mark in what has been his best day in the 5 games since his return. Johnson running for the first down. And suddenly Cleveland is in business. This is your game summary. With just over 3 minutes to play. At one point Cleveland was down 21-7, but they have shown some fight here in week 17.
They really have. 2 explosive pass plays. The defense has been able to get some turnovers. And here you go. DeShone Kizer has a chance at a game-winning drive.
Kizer over 300 yards passing. Here's Crowell as he inches a little bit closer to the 30. All the big decisions that Cleveland will have to make in the offseason. Of course, it'll start with the quarterback position. And there's Hugh Jackson looking for what would be his 2nd win as Cleveland head coach and the first for the Browns since Christmas Eve of last year.
Hey, Reagan. Hey, Louie.
Steelers showing another pressure look.
2nd and 7. Kizer under duress. Going to try to run for it, and they get him from the back. Well played by the strong safety, Sean Davis. As Kizer able to pick up 2 positive yards on the play and escape what appeared to be the initial sack. And with that 2-minute warning in Pittsburgh, Steelers clinging to the late 4-point lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, brewed to be enjoyed responsibly. And by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Final 2 minutes from Pittsburgh. Happy New Year from the Steel City. Steelers a 4-point lead over DeShone Kizer and Cleveland. Looking for that ever-elusive win on the final Sunday of the regular season. Kizer from the gun, 3rd and 6, far side. Johnson, the catch appears to be short. Mike Hilton on the tackle. Well played as Johnson picks up 4. Hilton has made some huge plays, and now Hugh Jackson looking down at that play sheet on 4th and 2. Nothing to think about here as they will go for it.
Oh, not at all. So who are your best players? Duke Johnson is one of them. Josh Gordon is the other. The one guy who had a big play earlier in the game was your rookie tight end, David Njoku. He has a tendency to get lost in the middle of that Pittsburgh defense, but you've got to find a way to target Duke Johnson or Josh Gordon, and they have to make a play. Duke Johnson not even in the game right now. This is Isaiah Crowell outside. That's something I just don't understand.
All kinds of confusion, so Kaiser with the heady play. They'll take their first time out here and try to get themselves set for what is the biggest play of their season, with a minute 54 left and a 4th and 2 coming up. Well, that game in New England, nearly a final, with the Patriots about to take care of the Jets, so that'll lock up the 1 seed in the AFC for the Patriots. Steelers, of course, can finish no lower than number 2. They'll have the first round bye, division champs in the AFC North for a 3rd time in 4 years, as that playoff picture starts to come together. But so right now the pressing matters, 4th and 2, as Mike Tomlin's defense looks for one more stop.
I would expect max coverage with a 4-man rush and play tight man-to-man. They're going to line up William Gay on Duke Johnson and allow him to try and take him in coverage, but either Johnson or Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon is up here. Duke Johnson one-on-one with Joe Hayden at the bottom of the screen. Not a great matchup for the Browns.
Corey Coleman in the backfield. Kaiser under pressure, somehow escapes. Kaiser's pass is incomplete. Right through the hands of Coleman, and he can't believe it.
Oh, you got to catch that ball. You got to catch that ball. Kaiser does everything that he possibly can, and that one goes right through your hands. Incomplete pass, and what a disappointing end to the Cleveland Browns offense.
When Coleman dropped that surefire touchdown you think about 4 weeks ago in a game against Cincinnati. My goodness, and that young man's going to be thinking about that play during the entire offseason. Cleveland does have 2 timeouts left, and so the Steelers are going to need at least 1 first down here to put this game on ice. Stephen Ridley on the take, and the Browns will take a timeout here. Stop the clock at 1:42 to play in this 4th quarter. Well, we know where Cleveland sits, trying to avoid becoming the 5th team since 1944 and the 3rd since the merger to finish the season winless. That 1960 Cowboys team was their inaugural season, and
you know,
another look at the Coleman drop.
Yeah, that play right there is a microcosm of the entire Cleveland Browns season. They've been in position in games, and on offense, they haven't been able to maximize and capitalize on their opportunities. On defense, they've given up back-breaking plays at really bad times. And that play right there just kind of says it all. Kaiser did everything he could, and that pass does not get any easier for Corey Coleman.
Coleman, the young man who they took with the 15th overall pick back in 2016. This is Ridley breaking free. First down run and more for the Steelers, and there's a late flag at the end of the play. Clock stopped at the moment, 95 seconds left. Ridley with a 15-yard burst.
Jamar Taylor with a horse collar on the sideline.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar tackle, defense on the 21, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Ooh, you can see how close and how dangerous that play is, because you saw Ridley's left ankle almost get caught underneath the body of Jamar Taylor. think for the Steelers it didn't happen, but that'd be devastating.
Stephen Ridley playing only his second game since he was signed before their game at Houston last week. And as we mentioned earlier, the season-ending injury to James Conner, who had been Le'Veon Bell's backup. And Ridley has made some big plays in this game. One more carry here as Hugh Jackson and the Browns will take their final timeout. 91 seconds left. And Hugh taking an extra couple of peeks up at that clock. Hugh Jackson, proud football man, so respected around the NFL. Everything he's had to endure since taking over his Cleveland franchise last season.
No doubt it's been a hard season for everybody involved, and it really shows the importance. This offseason coming up for Cleveland is massive because all the draft picks, all the cap space, they finally have to find out and address and get somebody to compete and play quarterback. But they've got a huge offseason, a great opportunity to draft and get some young talent on their football team, and it's so important that they hit on it and don't make any mistakes.
On 2nd and 12, this is Ridley. Of course, they have a new general manager as of the opening week of December, John Dorsey, who constructed the current Kansas City Chiefs. He'll have some big decisions to make. And you just have to feel for Corey Coleman, the second-year wide receiver. A couple of big hands injured, broken bones to his hand, I should say, the last couple of years. Some words of encouragement from Deshaun Kaiser.
No doubt. This one hurts. That's part of playing ball, that these things are going to happen, but there's no question that one stings.
One more first down will end the game. And so a lot of time will come off the clock, even if they're short, which they are here, as Ridley is just able to get to the line of scrimmage. And the Steelers will be able to run the clock down to about 2 or 3 seconds here before they will spot it and decide what to do here on 4th and 13. There's Mike Tomlin.
Well, you take the delay game and then you snap it, run around for a little bit and kneel on it and call it a day.
Tomlin, Steelers division champs for the 6th time in his 11 years here in the Steel City. First round bye, as they will finish as the number 2 seed and start to make preparations for the postseason.
Still 4th down.
And there you have your answer. So they take the delay of game penalty. And the Cleveland Browns staring down the barrel of an 0-16 season. For the Steelers, it'll be the first time they've had a first-round bye since 2010, with a 2 seed that year, and then advanced to the Super Bowl where they lost to Green Bay. They'll hope for better fortunes this season. The Steelers have won it 28-24. Your final and football infamy for the 2017 Cleveland Browns. They joined the 2008 Detroit Lions as the only teams to finish a season 0-16. Updated look at the AFC postseason picture. New England will be the 1 seed, Pittsburgh the 2, and of course still left to be determined are the wild card spots. Baltimore and Tennessee will both be playing later this afternoon. What a day here in Pittsburgh. Deshaun Kaiser to Coleman, the catch that never was. Your final 28-24. Special thanks to our terrific crew, our producer Seller Shai, Jim Cornell, our director, our statistician Rusta Lynn, and Rich Gaynor, our spotter, Bill O'Brien, Scott Laube, and Wayne Richardson, as well as the rest of our crew. For Adam Archuleta, Spiro Ditas saying Happy New Year, so long from Pittsburgh. Coming up next, James Brown in New York.